Welcome back to another Tuesday Trivia. I have another 10 movies for you today. I'm going to go ahead and tell you part of the theme, and then I'll hold off on the rest of it until a couple of questions into it. But it's going to be audience ratings from Rotten Tomatoes of horror movies. So top audience ratings of horror movies from Rotten Tomatoes. So let's get into it. What's up, physical media and trivia fans? Welcome back to another Tuesday Trivia. I have another 10 movies for you this week. I'm going to give you synopses, and then you try to guess what the movie is from that synopsis. And I'm going to remove any identifying information. And one I removed quite a bit, but I'll tell you why later. And you try to guess the movie. If you don't get it from that, I'll give you the year of release. I'll give you the top 3 cast in reverse order of billing, the director, then I'll give you the answer. Once again, this week I have fun facts for you, so Flo and I will be giving you some fun facts about each of these titles. But the theme is, I went through Rotten Tomatoes horror movies, and I'm giving you the top audience scored horror movies through the decades. So these are going way back. There's another little twist to that I'm going to tell you after a couple of these. But let's go ahead and get started with movie number 1. The classic sequel to the classic original, in which Dr. F seeks to build a mate for his monster. More humor than the first, but also more pathos, including the monster's famous but short-lived friendship with a blind hermit. Blank plays both the bride and blank in the opening sequence. So it might be pretty obvious what I'm talking about, but you have to get the right one. And the year of release will probably help you. It is 1935. 1935, so I'm going way back, huh? Almost 100 years. The cast is Ernest Thesiger, Elsa Lancaster, or Lanchester, I do my best with the pronunciations, and Boris Karloff. That might make it obvious. The director is James Whale. James Whale. James Whale directed The Bride of Frankenstein in 1935, and it is highly rated among audiences through Rotten Tomatoes. The fun fact that I have for you for The Bride of Frankenstein is Elsa Lanchester said that she based her iconic hiss and idiosyncratic movement on nesting swans that she and her husband liked to watch in London. The widespread legend that the British monarchy owns every swan in the kingdom is just that, a legend. According to what I read, there are a couple other entities that lay claim to swans that are on the River Thames, or the Thames River, and they're all a couple of corporations, or maybe labor guilds, I don't know, whatever. But the monarchy doesn't own every single swan in the kingdom. That's an urban legend. Movie number 2. Fun, absorbing, classic horror with blank as a man bitten by blank. His dad thinks he's gone nuts. His screaming gal pal just doesn't understand, and plants on the universal lot have no roots. Blank's finest hour as the prophetic gypsy woman. Awoo! Chilling and thrilling. You're welcome for that bit of wolf acting there. The year is 1941. You having trouble getting comfy? The cast is, I'm going to try my best, Maria Ouspenskaya, Claude Rains, and Lon Chaney Jr. If you know those names, you might realize this is, a classic. The director is George Wagner, and this movie is The Wolfman. The fun fact that I have for you for The Wolfman is the original script
was ambiguous.
About Talbot's affliction. It was never revealed whether he was delusional or if he really was supernaturally cursed. So that's pretty interesting. They were going to make it more of a psychological thriller rather than, a true creature feature. Might have been all in his head. Since we've done 2 questions, I'll go ahead and tell you the rest of the theme. The theme is highest rated by audiences horror movies for each decade. Now there's one I kind of cheated a little bit, and I'll tell you what that one is later because it doesn't officially fit into the decade that I used it for, but I'm going to use it because it in common usage it does, and I'll tell you why later. Movie number 3, the one and only post-McCarthy paranoid sci-fi epic where a small California town is infiltrated by pods from outer space that replicate and replace humans. A chilling, genuinely frightening exercise in nightmare dislocation. Based upon the novel by Jack Finney, remade in 1978. If you're new here and you're surprised that I left the author's name in there, I leave authors in usually because, that's an extra little clue, a little reward for people who read. If you do, kudos to you. I love the readers out there. I don't read as much as I should, but if you're reading a ton and you know these authors, then you get an extra little leg up on everybody. The year of release is 1956. The cast is Carolyn Jones, Dana Winter, and Kevin McCarthy. And the director is Donald Siegel. Donald Siegel. And he directed Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's a great film, but the fun fact I have for you might, as it leads me to believe, might lead you to believe, it could have been better. The studio interfered. So this is another movie where the studio forced changes that disappointed the director. In this case, they made Siegel remove some elements of dark humor and revise his original bleak ending. So I suspect, although I didn't read this, that some of the dark humor was poking fun at McCarthyists and the Red Scare adherents and whatnot, and maybe that was a little dangerous for the time, or the studio was a little too conservative to allow that kind of thing. That's just my guess. That's a theory that I have. Movie number 4. Blank counted on his directorial stature and broke all the rules in this story of violent murder, transvestitism, and insanity. Based on Robert Bloch's novelization of an actual murder, Blank plays a fleeing thief who stops at the secluded Blank, where she meets her death in the classic shower scene. Shot on a limited budget in a little more than a month, this movie changed the Hollywood horror film forever. And this movie for the 1960s was released in 1960. Now, I say that it's technically not the right decade because the decade of the 60s would be 61 through 70. We have 1 through 10, right? Rather than 0 through 9. So I'm sure that nobody cares, but it starts with a 60, so I'm counting it. The cast is Vera Miles, Janet Leigh, and Anthony Perkins. This one might be the easiest one on this quiz this week. The director is Alfred Hitchcock. And this movie is Psycho. So if you haven't seen Psycho, you should fix that right away. It is amazing. It is seminal in horror films. And Hitchcock really did throw in an early runtime twist that was pretty shocking, especially for the time and for the first time that people have seen it. If they don't know that, it's a surprise and it's awesome. The fun fact that I have for you for this film is that Janet Leigh had a body double for the brief nude shots featured in the famous shower scene. The uncredited double was Playboy cover girl Marley Renfro. Marley Renfro. She was on the cover of Playboy in the 60s, 1960, and was a Playboy bunny at apparently Playboy themed clubs, or maybe they were officially licensed. I don't know. I wasn't around back then. Movie number 5. Early directorial effort by blank from the Peter Benchley Potboiler. A tight, very scary, and sometimes hilarious film about the struggle to kill a giant blank that is terrorizing an eastern beach community's waters. The characterizations are much more enduring than the shock effects. Memorable score. This is a classic. A lot of these are easy just because they are the most beloved, according to Rotten Tomatoes, horror films of each decade. This one came out in 1975. And the cast is Richard Dreyfuss, Robert Shaw, and Roy Scheider. You might know it now. This director is Steven Spielberg. And the movie is, of course, Jaws. I redacted the great white shark after To Kill a Giant because I figured that would pretty much give it away right away. But this is one of the easier ones. Hopefully you got it. This week, if you get, let's say 8, you're a superstar. If you get 6 or so, you're doing great. Movie number 6. I'm keeping this one PG, so I censored this one myself. The Bee is back, some 50 years later. Popular sequel to blank amounts to non-stop, ravaging combat in space. Contact with a colony on another planet has mysteriously stopped. Fresh from deep space sleep, Blank and a slew of pulsar-equipped Marines return to confront the Blank at her nest, which is also inhabited by a whole bunch of the nasty critters spewing for a fight. Something's gotta give, and the Oscar-winning special effects are especially inventive and messy. Dimension, acting biz talk, is given to our hero Blank as she discovers maternal instincts lurking within her spacesuit while looking after a young girl, the lone survivor of the colony. Tension-filled gore blaster. I feel like they've used that term gore blaster before, but I don't know. Is it a gore blaster? Also, spewing for a fight is a weird way to put this. The Video Hound's Golden Movie Retriever made this synopsis very long, but hopefully you get it. If it's not obvious, it is sci-fi horror. The year is 1986. The cast is Lance Henriksen, Michael Biehn, and Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney Weaver playing an iconic role here. And the director is James Cameron. And this movie is Aliens. So Alien 2, the second in the Alien franchise, called Aliens, which I feel like is more confusing than it needs to be. Alien 2, Aliens would sound pretty stupid, so I guess I understand why they went with that. Apparently, when Cameron pitched this, I'm giving you a bonus fun fact, he wrote Alien with the S being a $sign because he was telling the studio they're going to make a ton of money on this. And with that hubris, it could have gone poorly for him, but it didn't. It was a huge success. The fun fact, the official fun fact that I have for you is that the production was famously troubled with 2 major positions being fired and replaced before shooting even started. The original cinematographer, Dick Bush, was replaced after reportedly complaining about Cameron's shooting schedule. And the original Corporal Hicks, James Remar, was allegedly fired for drug possession and discharging a real shotgun shell into a soundstage wall, a wall shared by the production of Little Shop of Horrors. If you didn't know, Little Shop of Horrors was directed by Frank Oz of Miss Piggy fame and Yoda. And so apparently James Remar, who's in a ton of stuff, shot a real shotgun through the wall in the soundstage, which sounds just, they shouldn't have had that on set, it seems like, especially if they're on sound stages. But who am I? I'm not the safety expert on movies. Movie number 7. Blank is FBI cadet Blank, a woman with ambition, a cum laude degree in psychology, and a traumatic childhood. When a serial killer begins his ugly rounds, the FBI wants psychological profiles from other serial killers, and she's sent to collect a profile from one who's exceptionally clever, Blank, prone to dining on his victims. Brilliant performances, finely detailed supporting characterizations, and elegant pacing from the director. Some brutal visual effects, excellent portrayals of women who refuse to be victims, based on the Thomas Harris novel. Now for this one in particular, I don't think this synopsis is correct, and I'll tell you once I reveal the movie. If you haven't gotten it yet, I'll reveal the movie and I'll tell you why I think the synopsis is wrong. I mean, I've seen this movie several times. Anyway, the year is 1991. The cast is Scott Glenn, Anthony Hopkins, and Jodie Foster. The director is Jonathan Demme, director of Stop Making Sense as well. And this movie is The Silence of the Lambs. So I don't remember her assignment being to go get a psychological profile on Dr. Lecter. I thought it was a consult, and I don't remember them saying they need FBI agents going out to other serial killers to get psychological profiles. Or maybe I'm just remembering wrong. But anyway, if you've seen the film, you know that Dr. Lecter ends up giving some clues as to who the killer might be. The fun fact that I have for you for this one is that legendary B-movie director and producer Roger Corman has a cameo as FBI director Hayden Burke. So if you saw that movie and you saw this Hayden Burke character and you thought, that guy kind of looks familiar, that's Roger Corman. Movie number 8. And we're on to the 2000s now. The aughts? Anyway. Movie number 8. Brit flick has been referred to as a rom-zom-com or romantic zombie comedy. Certainly a cinematic rarity. Slacker clerk Blank, who lives with dim loser chum Ed, is dumped by frustrated girlfriend Liz and goes to his favorite pub to drown his sorrows. Because of his morning hangover, he is unaware that London is suddenly overrun with the walking dead. It takes a zombie in the garden to get the guys to take action. Armed with a cricket bat, shovel, and unwanted vinyl discs from their record collection, the better to slice off a zombie's head. But there's an upside. The zombie crisis brings out the best in Blank as the survivors retreat to the pub for a final stand and more beer. So, if you, it says comedy right in it, but this is a horror comedy. It is the highest rated of this decade. And this year is 2004. And the cast is Bill Nighy. He's in a ton of stuff too. Underworld movies. Nick Frost. And Simon Pegg. And the director is Edgar Wright. And this movie is Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead. A wonderful, wonderful movie. Super funny. Very clever. Great gore. It's very fun. The fun fact I have for you for this one is the film was inspired by an episode of the sitcom Spaced, in which Peg's character Tim stays up too late playing Resident Evil and starts daydreaming / hallucinating a zombie apocalypse. So they liked that concept, and they liked that episode so much that Wright also worked on, and Frost, that they developed into a feature film, which we all got to enjoy. Movie number 9. This is the one I redacted a lot because I felt like giving away even some character names, even though they're not well known, would give it away too easily. So here we go. Blank, a father with not much time for his daughter and his daughter, are boarding the KTX, a fast train that shall bring them from point A to point B. But during their journey, the apocalypse begins and most of the Earth's population becomes flesh-craving zombies. While the KTX is shooting toward Blank, the passengers fight for their families and lives against the zombies and each other. So this is highly rated by audiences. Movie from 2016. And the cast, I'm going to do my best with these names. Cast consists of Ma Dong-suk, Jung Yoo-mi, and Gong Yoo. If you're not picking up on it yet, these are Korean names. The director is Yoon Sang-ho. Doing my best once again with pronunciation. I took French in high school 35 years ago or so. This movie is Train to Busan. Train to Busan. So I redacted the names of going from Seoul to Busan. I redacted the names because I figured it'd be kind of obvious that they're Korean and that might give it away too fast. This movie is good. It's a fun, fast zombie movie. I didn't love it a lot, and I'll tell you after the fun fact a little bit more why. So the fun fact I have for you is that this is the director's first live action film, and the production was a challenge. One cast member said that it was typical to do 20 takes to get the blocking right for CGI effects, or due to tech issues like focus pulling. So I knew that this director had done animation in the past and was doing this live action fast zombie movie, and I was fairly excited for it. Like, oh, that's cool. I want to check it out. Maybe this animation director can do some very unique things that you don't normally see in films. And then I just thought it was a passable, fast-moving zombie movie. I thought it was fine. It was good. It just didn't really blow me away, but apparently people love it. So it is the highest rated of the 20 teens. Final movie I have for you, number 10. I forgot to mention that I had to pull that synopsis and this one from IMDb because they are not in the Video Hounds Golden Movie Retriever. Even though this is 2021, they don't have a lot of foreign films. Like I've mentioned before, they don't even have Akira. Anyway, movie number 10. 1930s. The Moore brothers return home to Mississippi after working for the Chicago Mafia. They buy a sawmill to use as a juke joint and use their experience as gangsters to ensure that their businesses flourish. Things appear to be going well, but trouble has hit town. Trouble in supernatural form. I chose this synopsis from an anonymous IMDb user just because it kept things vague enough that I thought it wouldn't give it away right away, but maybe you picked up on it right away. And this was the only one that didn't mention twins. So I'll give you another clue. The year is 2025. The cast is Jack O'Connell, Haley Steinfeld, and Michael B. Jordan. And the director is Ryan Coogler, Black Panther director himself. And this movie is Sinners. Quite the cultural phenomenon when it came out. Everybody was seeing it. I had, non-horror fans telling me that they liked it, which is awesome. I love it. Fun movie that makes waves outside of the culture of horror fans is always welcome, because maybe it'll convert some people. The fun fact that I have for you for Sinners is that the legendary blues artist Buddy Guy has a cameo as Old Sammy near the end of the film. I do love a cameo. I throw them in there for my fun facts because not everybody picks up on that or watches the credits or, reads trivia or anything. So I thought that was pretty cool. And when I saw him at the end of this film, I thought, oh, hey, that guy, the Chicago guy. So that's it. 10 films, 10 synopses. Hopefully you got a bunch of them. Like I said, if you got 8 or so, you're a superstar. If you got at least 6, you're doing great. Good work. They won't always be this easy with these being the top most beloved by audiences movies, but I thought this would be a fun theme for this week. Thanks for joining me. If you want to like and subscribe, thank you for joining us, my co-host and I. If you want to like and subscribe, I appreciate it, but if you don't, that's okay too. I just appreciate that you've watched this far. In the meantime, you'll see me the next time I post. Thanks.